Good evening, everyone. It's night time again, so that's why the lighting is not that great. But anyway, here we go. A little update on what we have found so far in terms of getting out of South Africa. This should be a part two, if I'm correct. Otherwise, it's just another one, and you don't have to count. Today, well, since Sunday, we have gotten into some more research regarding where to go, what it costs, and all of that. Now, I know the previous video was basically just the business side of things and just the investment buy-in and buying a residency, all that kind of thing. So now we've done some more research with regards to actually getting into a country. A country we've heard a lot about was Paraguay. So we looked at Paraguay. Once again, it sounds amazing. People are wanted there. They really want farmers. They've got a growing economy. They are busy expanding and growing, and everything sounds good until you go and look at the exchange rate. If you keep in mind that South Africa has just gone over the 15 rand mark to the dollar, and then keep in mind that 1,000 Paraguayan that thing that they use financially, it's a Guyeni or I don't remember. It's hard to pronounce for me, so sorry. 1,000 of their units equals 2 rand 45. Yes, they have that bad of an economy. Also, getting in, not difficult. Visas, not needed. You fly there and you apply for a tourist visa there and receive it. And from there on, you can actually just apply for your permanent residency. And it costs you about $5,000 and then somewhat extra for any dependents. So it sounds brilliant. But finding a job there is not as easy as you would think. If you do find a job, the problem becomes the financial aspect once again, finding a job that pays enough. The life cost, living cost, are pretty much the same if you work it back into rands, so that's the same. However, the pay that you will get there monthly or weekly is less than you will get in South Africa or most other places. So unless you are an investor or a farmer going there, I don't know if Paraguay is the way to go.
And then also the language barrier.
And then obviously language barrier. If you don't speak Spanish
Fluently.
you are in for a rough time. Especially if you're a farmer going there. Yeah, if you say go there and they go, huh? Yeah, that's not fun. So Paraguay, pros, cons, the whole list. Once again, I'll put everything that we found, all the links and all the things in the description down below, so you can go check it out yourself as well. I'm just going to give you a recap because that's all I can do, seeing as I'm not verbatim dictionary that just goes blah, all the facts. So, next on the list was Chile.
Chile and Uruguay, basically the whole South America.
Yeah, basically the whole South America. Chile, Uruguay. It's basically, once again, language barrier. If you don't speak some Spanish, or if you're not planning on becoming a fluent Spanish speaker, you might want to reconsider those countries. They are easy to get into, no visas, or very little effort to get visas. You can basically just fly there and obtain your visa when you get there. Once again, payments when you get to the bank can get you into residency there as well. Some have options for buying property and getting a residency that way. Greece has the same one.
Live there.
You still have to live there and you have to make it work and be financially stable. The pensioners visas are quite easy to get and a bit easier to make work, seeing as you only need up to about, I think it's $1,000 per month that you need to prove that you get into your account. So if you have a sponsor who will sponsor you that amount, well, that's $1,000 for you and every dependent extra bit of cash. So if it's you alone, pensioners, they get about, if you get $1,000 into your account monthly, they'll give you a pensioner's visa because you are going to spend that money there.
And you're not allowed to work.
And you're not allowed to work. Working there has a different definition than what we have here in South Africa. If you work there, you work for a company and therefore are employed by someone. If, however, you decide to buy a house and you think, this big house, I only need the back half of it, the front half I can turn to Airbnb or bed and breakfast of sorts, that doesn't count as an actual job. That's a hobby and that is fine. Photography for weddings, maybe that same thing, work for yourself, hobby. So painting things and yeah, so everything that can be considered a hobby is not a job, and therefore you can produce an income for yourself, so that helps. So
the European countries are very expensive to get into.
yeah, I just said European countries are so expensive to get into. Also, lots of red tape with regards to visas and passports, and
It's a long time.
it takes quite a bit of time. If you go to South America, you can get in quickly, pay your monies at the banks or whatever. Most of the times, the money is still yours. You just need to open a bank account with a certain amount of money in it, live in the country for a certain amount of days over a certain amount of years, and then you can actually apply for citizenship.
You'll need an immigration lawyer.
You'll need an immigration lawyer, and all these kind of things will play a big role in your decision that you will be making. If you go to Greece, for example, there are islands in Greece that need repopulation. They will actually sponsor people if you have 4 children or more. That sounds great. If you look at the size of the town, it's about 52 to 100 people. The town is really small. If you have lots of kids, they will take you because they want to hear the sound of children laughing in the streets. That's great and all. Once again, if this town is that small, work, income. What are you going to do? Do you have the money? Start up a business? Okay, who's your customers? It's things you need to think about. So Greece is there. The South Americas are there. The European countries are just so expensive to get into. And I'm not doing a very deliberate breakdown of all these countries. I'm going to dump a bunch of links in the description so you can go and do the reading yourself. It's pretty easy reading, especially if you have a country in mind. You just scroll through, see if the country is listed, and just go check that out. But primarily, what my message tonight is that if you plan on going somewhere, make sure you know the language. Prepare for the language, even if you can just basically read some of the language and understand some of the language and help yourself in the language. That will already help you survive the country. If you look like a tourist, you might be the next target. Obvious. So I'll leave the links in the description below. Please go and check them out. Also, go and check out Loving Lives channel. They have great information about what's going on in South Africa. Also check out LMS Tactical. It's a guy in America who does a whole lot of research on a whole lot of things, and they put out these videos, and it just helps you realize that people aren't just stupid, they are probably imbecilic at times. So that's it for tonight. I hope some of it helped you. I know it's a very broad and maybe a bit of gibberish tonight, but that's what we got. I'll link the links in the description, and I hope you are safe and have a good night, and it's almost the weekend. We can do this. I'll see you next time. Cheers.